This is the Political Spotlight.
The Political Spotlight is a joke. It's more like a political flop.
Nobody listens to Bilbrey.
He's just a wannabe podcaster. No one takes him seriously.
He is a rude, crude dude that will never go any further than broadcasting from his mother's basement.
Bilbrey is a wrecking ball for Indiana politicians.
Grab another box of Twinkies and generic cola, Bilbrey.
And get back to your microphone and your audience of nobodies.
The Political Spotlight is a joke.
It's more like a rude, crude dude that will never go
Bilbrey's a wrecking ball for Indiana politics. Shut that stupid Bilbrey up.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to proper internet service. My God, it feels so good to be here and doing the show live, making sure that everything's working smoothly. Oh, wait a minute. We are backwards. How does this happen? How does this happen? Stand by 1 second. Yep, that's not right. We got to fix this. I could tell straight away that we're having a problem here. How do I fix this? How do I fix this? Oh my God, Kate, tell me, how do I fix this? The camera's flipped. I can't hear you for some reason. Oh, there you can. What?
Settings. Should
Okay,
be
going
camera,
into settings.
and you don't want it to mirror it.
Oh, I see it there. Stand by. There we go. Ding. Man, that's why I looked so weird through the entire show with those guys.
There are worse things in the world.
Because I was
You just look
backwards.
backwards.
I hate being backwards.
Oh, I'm
But-
sorry you were backwards.
Hey, look, there's my grandmother. Good evening from the other room. Look here. The internet's working.
Huh? The camera's not like glitching?
Yeah, we're not having glitching. We got two
Amazing.
computers working and things are going so good. It's been so
Oh, I'm going to
good.
shut up before you curse it.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Alva from the road. Welcome. I want to show everybody. I want to show everybody something before we get started. This was a big thing. Stand by. I want to see. Why can't I get that working? Oh, there we go. I was like, what's happening here? So earlier today, as some of you may have heard at the end of last week, I had a little bit of a situation today, and that is that I ran into someone. And I want to put this up here on the screen and show you all here. Here's me and Alva here. I met Alva in an undisclosed location, and then we went to eat. Alva and his daughter, and enjoyed their company. They came in and they actually came to Mud Creek and spent some time playing with a dog. And yeah, that's exactly, absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's exactly correct. So yeah, I had a good time talking with Alva. And Alva, I've got to tell you, I am absolutely beside Larry. Welcome, Larry. I'm going to talk about the other show here in a minute. So I was absolutely beside myself because I didn't have you do something. And when you guys get back up this way, we'll make up for it. But I didn't have you sign I have a paint pen, and I bought the paint pen, a white paint pen specifically to have visitors to the Mud Creek studio sign that banner, and that's what I'm going to do with that, is have people who come to the studio sign that. And I didn't have you guys do that. I should have done that. I'm kicking myself. Matter of fact, I'll be honest, I thought that you were going back the other direction, and I was going to have you stop by and do it. But then when you told me what you guys were doing, I was like, I'll get you when you come back up. But I enjoyed my time with Alva and his daughter. Had a good time talking and enjoying the company and chit-chatting. Took him on a tour of some of his favorite locations. Like we went to mail it and mail it back. Yeah, it would be good. It wouldn't be hard to do that. That's not a bad idea. That's funny that you mentioned that, because somebody else had actually said that same thing. So that's funny that you said that. I got to get my comments on here. Yeah, okay, there. All right, now I can see the comments. So no, I enjoyed that, and so we'll work something out with that. But no, I'm telling you, I'm coming in. Normally, like when the show gets started, I've got to like get heat up and whatever. I'm coming off of a stretch where I've actually been talking politics and nonsense, carrying on since 7:30. At 7:30, I actually went on a show that you can also find on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. I think that's the only place they currently are, YouTube and or Facebook. So you can check that out. It's called The Rinse. The Rinse. It's on the Mouthwash channel. So for those of you that know the Mouthwash group, every now and then we watch their show. So Mouthwash is one of the shows. There's a couple different shows on that network. And the show that I was on, The Rinse, is hosted by, it was originally just hosted by Brad. And Brad's a Democrat, and there's a lot of things we disagree on. But you know what? Brad and I agree on a lot of stuff, honestly, and always have a good discussion with him. So if you guys want more, if you can't get enough, you can always go check out after the show. You can go check out The Rinse and check that out and take a look at what's going on there. We just did an episode before this show, and we talked about things such as the Whitestown shooting that happened back last November. We talked about the Georgia father who was just sentenced for 15 years due to his son who took 4 lives down in Georgia in a mass shooting. The son was sentenced to life, and the dad got 15 years. We talked about the mass deportation rally that was occurring in Indiana this weekend, and all the nonsense that went on there. We had a couple of other topics we didn't get to, but I want to say thank you to them for working with me and getting me onto this. So is it just another politics show? Yeah, it's another politics show, basically. But it was me as a guest rather than the host, and I was able to kind of was it really a bank holdup in Muncie on Madison? I mean, it wouldn't have been today because today's Sunday, so there are no banks open. So I don't know what you're talking about there. There wouldn't have been a bank holdup today. I don't really know. I don't know what that would have been, but so yeah, you can go check that out if you're interested. It's on YouTube. Type in. You can just simply type in The Rinse. I think it pops up if you do that. Yeah. You just type in The Rinse, and that show pops up, so you can see that. And today's show is titled The Rinse 8.2.26. That's something that I'm weird about, because I like having it even number. So I would make it 08.02.26, but I don't run everything, so it's good enough. Give me 1 second here, and I will pop this up and show you. Man, I have been working a lot. We've not been on air. Was it really a bank holdup in Muncie on Madison? Weeks ago there was a bank hold. I don't understand what you're asking. Like, are you saying, was it some kind of conspiracy and it truly wasn't? Yeah, it was a bank holdup a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I guess I don't get what you're getting at. Fill me in, and I'll try to see if I know what you're talking about. But yeah, to my understanding, it was a holdup back a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So here's the Rinse show. And this is the one that we were just on here. So you can see here, they bring yours truly in, and we were there and talk about local, state, and national politics. Well, you can so you can check that out. So that's that. Let me see what she's saying here. Today, a guy was in a mental crisis and at a mental health center, and police were going to trespass him. I don't know anything about that. I mean, listen, I would say robbing a bank is, hey, you're having a mental crisis if you're robbing a bank. So I would say the guy is having some kind of mental crisis, but it was actually a bank robbery. So yeah, I don't. That's that. So we haven't been on air a lot here lately because we've been fighting the stupid gremlins. And I apologize for that. That's something that I just absolutely hate dealing with. And it's, I just hate anytime we have to deal with that. But we are in the process of getting it under control. So tomorrow we have a meeting. We have a couple of meetings. We will be bringing that to your attention, and we'll be live streaming all of that stuff and bringing that to everyone's attention. You'll be able to watch that. After the meeting, I'll tell you, we're going into tomorrow's meeting planning on doing a show. Tonight is episode 709. Tomorrow will be episode 710. The plan is that the council will be able to do things like adults, and that the meeting might take a while, but that we will get out in enough time to have a show. So if we get out in enough time to have a show, and if our network at Mud Creek is still not up to par, we will be back here and we'll do the show. If we get out late, then there won't be a show like normal, and we'll just go from there. But I'm hoping within the next couple of days that the service will be up and running, and we will be back in the studio as we should be, and things will be running smoothly. So that's the goal. One more bit of housekeeping before we move on. And maybe this is sad for some of you. We've been going this way for a while. I am absolutely ecstatic. You will notice that tonight's episode was not titled. There is no title to tonight's episode. The episode title is simply the number. The title of tonight's episode is 709. The title of tomorrow's episode will be 710. If you want to know what we're going to be talking about, check in and just simply hit the description. I post the description everywhere. It's posted on YouTube. It's posted on Facebook, and you can see it literally everywhere. So it's not like you're going to miss anything or not know what the show's about. Like, for example, tonight's episode, that is episode 709, the description of tonight's show is, "This is the calm before the storm." In the 709th episode of the Political Spotlight, host Kristopher H. Bilbrey outlines the government events scheduled for tomorrow, Monday, August 3rd, 2026, in the city of Muncie and Delaware County, Indiana. Yeah, right, Kate. This episode airs on the eve of what is certain to be a consequential and potentially contentious Muncie City Council meeting set to begin at 6:45 p.m. on Monday, August 3rd, 2026. Bilbrey previews the major issues expected to come before the council, including the council's investigation into the internal operations and financial controls of the Muncie City Controller's Office, authorized by Resolution 8-26, Ordinance 926, along with Resolutions 1026 and 1126 concerning the proposed construction project for the new fire station on the current Station 5 location, the future of the vetoed Ordinance 13-26. Will the council allow the mayoral veto to stand, effectively killing the ordinance, or will at least 6 of the 9 council members vote to override it? Ordinance 1526, a watered-down version of Ordinance 1326, sponsored by District 5 Councilman Jerry Dishman. Bilbrey argues that Dishman should withdraw the ordinance, or that the council should reject it if they override the veto of Ordinance 1326. The highly debated vote on Ordinance 1426, a transparency and accountability measure intended to prevent the mayor from appointing members of the mayor's staff and other city employees to city boards and commissions. And Bilbrey will also share his thoughts ahead of Delaware County Commissioners meeting set for 9 a.m. Monday, August 3rd, 2026, with multiple controversial ordinances and a possible veto override and ongoing investigation, a major decision with public accountability and city operations. Monday could be one of the most significant days in recent Muncie government. Whatever you do, do not miss episode 709 of the Political Spotlight. What do you mean you lost us? You mean, was there a problem in the feed, or what are you talking about there, Amy? And no problem, Drew. It was a lot of fun. I love you guys, and it was a good time. I'll come on anytime. I think that'll be great. I'll have to have you guys come on together or one at a time and have you chat up sometime on this side. I have no problem doing that. That'll be good time. So I just want to talk about that for a second because I get a lot of heat for this. So, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the deal is. So when I was making tonight's show, ahead of going on the rinse, I started to title the show as I do, the number, the title, and the political spotlight. Well, you can only use 10 characters for YouTube, 100 characters. And I do it a certain way. So I like the number to be in there, and I like the title of the show to be in there. And so that only gives you so many other characters that you can play with. Okay. And it's a pain in the butt. So I started to title tonight's show, The Calm Before the Storm. In my mind, I wanted to call it something like The Calm Before the Storm. On the eve of the Muncie City Council, Delaware County Commissioners meetings. Well, those are too many letters. So then I start trying to figure out, well, I'm like, okay, screw it. I'll just leave Delaware County out. And I'll just leave it, The Calm Before the Storm, on the eve of the Muncie City Council meeting. We can talk about both, but I don't like doing that. I like things being like it is. So then I got it and I thought, you know what? Screw that. I'll just make it The Calm Before the Storm. But then at that point, if I'm titling this episode The Calm Before the Storm, the title doesn't mean anything to what the show's about. So it doesn't give anyone a clue. So you still have to go to the description to read what it's about. So at that point, title it with a number and have you do it anyways. It cuts down on my stress. It cuts down on the crap I got to do. And it lets me focus on far more important stuff. So you guys will know what the show's about. If you come into a show without knowing what it's about, you've almost had to have done that on purpose. So I promise you, nothing's going to change. So that's that. Okay, now, moving on. Before we get into the total craziness and get into the what's going to be happening tomorrow and my thoughts, I do just want to take a moment. I come to every show. Yeah, right? Yeah, if it's kind of like this. I used to say I'm bad at remembering names. And if I remember your name, it's because something really, really bad's happened. You've like sold kilos of cocaine or you've cut your wife's head off or something. Like if I remember your name, it's not a good thing. And so if Kate knows what the show's about before we start, something bad has happened. It's something we've been talking about for days or something's going on. So that's that. So it is what it is. Brenda made a comment up there a while ago about saying thank you for helping connect for the sign, and I want to say a really big shout out to her. She helped. I sent you something, Kate. Can you put that in overlays if you get a chance, just when you get a stamp? So while she's doing that, I want to take you guys to this just for a second and show you this. So this is the video today of, yeah, right, Alva? No, I'm good, thank you. They did the service today for the police officer, the chief, the town marshal from Lynn, and it was as I figured. It was a massive production. I mean, and I don't say that negatively whatsoever. I mean that with all due respect. There were tons and tons and tons of officers from all over here. And there's it's always a very strange situation. You never want to go to an officer funeral, but the pageantry that's behind it, I mean, it is the ceremony. It is a thing to behold that you don't really ever want to happen or to occur. So it's one of those things. I don't know, but I was happy to see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, and so I was happy that occurred, and they did the service.
So I'm looking through Brad's eyes.
And they had a lot of people there doing the thing. And if you want to watch this, if you for some reason want to watch that, you are able to do that by going to what is this exactly? I don't want to say it wrong. It is KISS Communications. So that's the channel out of Union City, K.I.S.S. Communications. And so if you want to watch that, it's it's definitely it's definitely something. So they did all of that, and it was a regular. I've been to more than I would like to admit, and I if Alva and them wouldn't have been in town, I would have probably got the cleanup clothes on, and I would have been a big boy and probably considered going, but I wanted to hang out with Alva, and so that was that. Kate put it in the comments there, so that's cool. But I want to show you this thing that happened outside of the school, and Brenda did this, put this up. She put, her and her team put one of these up for Blake Reynolds, the deputy in Delaware County that lost his life back last year. And so she put this up honoring Marshall Fisher, and it had the police stuff and the fire stuff, and it had his baseball stuff. And so she put this up there, and she does a really good thing. They have a business, and they put this kind of stuff up for like celebrations, like weddings and anniversaries and birthdays and open houses. And so, what they've done here for this, they did this, and there was no cost to the family, or, taxpayers didn't pay for this. They did this out of the kindness of their heart. So I want to kind of offer like an advertisement, I guess, for her for doing that. If you guys are ever in need of something like that, you can get a hold of me, or Brenda's here. You can, Brenda, you can put the name of your business in the comments if you so choose. I think that we should help them out, because they've done some really good in the community, and it's really cool. Those are really sad events, but I drove by a house close to mine a couple weeks ago and noticed that they had put one of these things up, and it was really cool. So they're really neat. So I don't know if she's still here yet or not, but I will get the name of it and get the contact if she's not here, and we can do that. But I like to help out people that help out and do things like that. So, okay. Moving on to the politics. We've been over the agenda. I'm not going to pull the agenda up. I'm just basically going to talk tonight. And I know we haven't been here a lot, and I know you guys are like, what's happening? But I'm probably not going to do a crazy too long show, because first of all, tomorrow is going to be insane. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. And I've been talking pretty much nonstop since 7:30. So I just basically kind of want to go over the highlights of tomorrow. And I once again, for the counselors that might hear this, for the elected officials there in Muncie, I want them to consider what I'm saying. And if this reaches one or two of them, I'm hoping they will take what I'm saying here to heart and will do the right thing. So, there are several meetings that go before the council, and there are one or two important items on the agenda. But very rarely, maybe once every couple of years, do we have a time where something, it just syncs up the right way, and essentially everything is like a big deal. And we're here. We're to that point. So starting off hey, see you, Alva. I figured that you were going to be turning in for the night. I hope you guys are having safe travels. See you tomorrow, brother. Tomorrow's meeting, I keep hearing everybody say that it's going to be a short meeting. And there might not be a lot of topics on the agenda, but I don't see tomorrow being short by any stretch of the imagination. So the very first thing that we'll deal with, keep in mind, I keep hearing everybody say, the meeting starts at 7, and if you want to sign up to speak, you got to be there before 7 to sign up. Well, I want everybody to be aware. We are going to live stream the meeting. We're going to live stream the meeting like we always do. The meeting will actually start at 6:45 because there's a public hearing. Now, there's only one item on the public hearing, and that is Ordinance 926. That's the fire department's proposal. Okay. I'm probably going to get up to speak. If Rick Yenser's there, maybe he'll get up to speak. Maybe another person or two, or maybe not. I don't know. But I think that, like all other public hearings, it's going to be 5-6 minutes. They're going to gavel it open. They're going to gavel it shut. And then we will go into recess until 7 p.m. So, yeah, you can get there prior to 7 and sign up. But if you get there after 7, you can still speak. All you have to do is wait until the end when public concerns goes. And if I will sign him up then. If you are somebody that's there that wants to speak, all I'm going to ask you is to do me a favor. When they call my name at the public comment section and I'm walking up to the podium, raise your hand. If you raise your hand, I don't even need to know your name. I will say when I get up to the podium, I believe there are other people here that want to speak that didn't get signed up. I will let them know. And then you'll just have to wait till the end, and then you'll be able to speak. So all I'm asking of you is when I get up to speak, just put your hand in the air, and I will look, I'll scan it, and I will speak for you. I don't even need to know your name. I will do that. But if you want to sign up, that's fine. You can work it through and do it or whatever, but you don't have to sign up. And we will fight to make sure that you are heard. They have to hear you. They've already set the precedent. It will be done. So don't worry about that. We will be live streaming the meeting. There will be no audio during the recess. People always ask me about that. They're like, is it broken? I'm not hearing anything. No, nothing's happening. You're seeing people milling around. I don't know why I have to say that as much as I do, but it is what it is. So once we get into the items on the agenda, okay, the agenda is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 big items to talk about. So when they get to the point where they talk about Resolution 8-26, I will be honest. Generally, when we're going in here, I have an understanding of what the council's going to talk about. Whether I hear from the counselors or not, I know, like, okay, they're asking for this, or this is what's going to happen. This is the investigation into the controller's office. And nothing has went as it was supposed to go. Nothing has happened right. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if the Republicans are going to try to close this thing off tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to ask for a public hearing. I don't know if they're going to ask to go to court. I have no clue. But I think that we as a public need to be telling them that we don't want this to be just jammed through inappropriately, that we want them to do the right thing. Yes, I did. I finally did. And I feel I'll talk to you about that. I just saw your comment there. Sorry, I was talking to Kate. So my ask to the council is simple. Go to court and demand that the controller comply with your asks, with the things that they should have asked. How can you run? That's like you coming to me and saying, Investigator Bilbrey, Detective Bilbrey, Police Officer Bilbrey, whatever. There's a murder. We want you to investigate it. There's a theft. We want you to investigate it. There's a, crime against a person, an essay or whatever. YouTube buzzwords. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to look at all the evidence. But I don't actually look at the evidence. I don't talk to the victim. I don't look at the crime scene photos. I don't look at the bank sheets. I don't ask for the autopsy report. I don't get the rape test kit. I don't test the drugs. How can I run an investigation without looking at the evidence? Now, that's not what the council's doing. The council's not doing a criminal investigation. They're not pointing any fingers. They are simply looking at the internal controls of the controller's office, which is the office that we funnel all of our money through. This is common sense. But how can the council fully do their investigation without getting what they've actually requested? So it's my belief that the council needs to push back and say, we didn't get what we asked for, and we're now going to pursue the judge's opinion in this, and we'll keep you posted on what's going on. And I would be interested in attending that court date and listening to what they present and listening to why the controller, I'd like the controller to tell a sitting judge why he has failed to comply. It's not Kristopher Bilbrey's deal. I didn't tell him to do this. It's not like he's blowing me off. He's blowing off a legitimate past resolution that is backed by Muncie code and state code. That would be like getting pulled over for speed on a city side street, and they pull you over under the ordinance violation or under the state law of speeding. And Craig Wright sitting behind the car and saying, nope, you can't give me a ticket. You can't ask me for my ID. I'm going to drive off now. Well, you can't do that. He couldn't do that. That would be crazy. No. We're just getting ready to get into that, game daughter. Just getting into that. So that's where we stand with Resolution 826, the investigation. I have something written down that I'm going to stand up and ask for. Who knows what will come of it? We'll see what happens. moving on from there. Says that we'll go to Fikes Court. And right now, everybody's. The council attorney would be responsible for filing it in the court. The clerk. No, excuse me. No, maybe the clerk would use the council's attorney. I don't know what would happen there. The clerk's office would prepare it, and they would file it with the court. I think it's probably up to the city clerk, and I don't see that the city clerk would file it through Fikes Court. The city. I'll put it to you this way: the city clerk's certainly not going to do anything to help Ridenour, because the city clerk and Ridenour don't get along. So that'll be that. All right. Moving on. I'm taking these in order of what I think would be easiest to overcome and greatest. Okay. So that was Resolution 826. Next up is Ordinance 1426. Now, in my description of this, I said, this is the ordinance where the council is trying to, keep the mayor, highly debated vote on Ordinance 1426, a transparency accountability measure intended to prevent the mayor from appointing members of the mayor's staff. Now, you will notice I didn't say to keep Ridenour from appointing Ridenour staff, because it's not got anything to do with Dan Ridenour. It's about the mayor, be it he, be it she, be it a Republican, be it a Democrat. This is about keeping checks and balances in place in city government. And Dan and his group have done literally everything they could do to get rid of checks and balances and to make this Dan's way or no way, and it's Dan's way all the way on every single project. Man, I'm talking to more and more and more people from the McKinley district, and I'm telling you, these people, and we'll talk about the McKinley thing here in a minute, Ordinance 1326 and 1526. We'll talk about what my thoughts are there. But all these different people, I'm talking all kinds of different people involved with this. And they are like honest to God, good people. They're still trying to figure out a way that everybody wins, that Ridenour can come out victorious, that, the building commissioner and Jeff Howe, I mean, they're really trying, because they're not all as jaded as I am. Okay. They've not been involved with everything with Ridenour, and I don't blame them. They haven't been disappointed by Dan as much as I have. Okay. They still see him as somebody that's, done good and possibly can do good. Now, I always will remain hopeful for that, because tomorrow is always a new day. But, I think past actions are a good indicator of future actions. And as I've told literally anybody I've talked to, I'm past the point of giving Ridenour the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't get that from me anymore. And that's solely because of his actions, not because I hate him or have a problem. I don't hate him. I don't have a problem with him. I want Muncie to succeed. If Dan succeeds, doing the right thing, Muncie succeeds. If Dan fails, Muncie fails. Absolutely. I'll be honest, as I've told a couple people today, the problem is, I was talking to Alva about this when Alva and I had lunch. I don't know who's on the horizon. When we don't have Dan in as the mayor anymore, I don't have somebody that I'm like, ooh, I want this next Republican to win. Or, ooh, this next Democrat could be a good. I don't see anybody that I think would be like, oh, yay, that would be cool. I'm out of my mind that I'm literally saying, like, yeah, maybe Nora wouldn't be bad as a mayor. But then that also scares me because I've liked some things she's been doing on the council, but I'm also aware of the past. I don't care who's on the horizon. Whoever it is will have a huge financial hole to dig out of. That's very true. It's very much like the whole discussion with John Sproles in Henry County. Nicholson or Bockover. I mean, more likely Nicholson, but whoever the next sheriff is in Henry County, they've got a big hole to dig out of down there. So that's the thing. But this vote for 1426 is just common sense. And if I'm not mistaken, the council voted 8-all to introduce this. There is legitimately no reason that 1426 does not pass 9-all. There is no reason that this does not pass 9-all. Absolutely, Amanda. 1000%. And I'll be honest, speaking specifically about Henry County in your area, I don't know, no matter who's elected, if that's coming. I don't specifically think that that's happening. I don't know. I think it's like the best that we're going to get is just a new leadership. Too bad we can't have a new mayor until next election. Well, yeah, right. So, yeah, I don't know. But 1426, my push is going to be that the council needs to vote for this. This is as easy as saying, should we have steps in place to secure who puts amendments in place. That same whatever the ordinance was dealing with the Basham forgery deal, the fraud thing, and all that with his signature, and people still voted against that. This is as simple as that. And we're going to see people like Green vote against it. And we're going to see Basham vote against it. And it just frustrates me because it's like, okay, I'm cool with you voting against this if that's what you've got to do. Just give me an explanation for why you're doing it. Vote against it, but tell me why you're voting against it. And it better be a legitimate reason. It better be a legitimate reason, because if it's not a legitimate reason, then, I've got a problem with it. Like, if it's just you're voting against this because Dan's telling you, well, I need you to vote against this because we want to keep Shireen on the MRC. I really need to keep Shireen on the MRC. I'm telling you, I've told everybody that I've talked to about this, all the counselors I've talked to, all you've got to do is go and watch the MRC meeting from 2 weeks ago, or whenever it was, last week, maybe, and watch it, because that meeting right there, specifically talking about this McKinley neighborhood, is the absolute reason why these boards should not have Dan's employees on it. Simple as that. So when we go tomorrow's meeting and Ordinance 1426 comes up, tomorrow's the passing vote. So if they vote on it, if 5 people vote on it, it passes. If we only get 4 votes or less, those council people have explaining to do. Explain your vote. They also need to consider if they want people beholden to the mayor to be on boards if the other side holds the mayor's seat. Right, but you know what? It's like, I think they think like that's never going to happen. Dan's going to be mayor forever. They're always going to, these people are not going to die. They're going to serve in these high exalted seats forever. They have ascended the highest land. They are where they're at, and nothing's ever going to change.
That's a ridiculous point of view. What party was the mayor that Dan came in after?
Well, the great criminal in the mayor's office, Dennis Tyler, was a Democrat.
Was a
mind
Democrat.
You. Isn't that crazy?
The previous mayor was a Democrat. The one before that was a Republican, right?
Yeah, it's so weird, right?
It flip-flops quite a bit in Muncie.
It does.
Now, here's
Tyler was
another
a Democrat.
interesting question.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What if you end up with a Republican in office who's like Tyler, who does some stupid shit? Now, was he appointing people to boards to help him do the stupid shit that were part of his administration to help push this stuff forward?
Yeah.
You don't see this as a problem?
Yeah, right?
Just take party out of it.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Muncie, let me tell you, I'll tell you right here, right now, Muncie's most current population as we sit here right now is 65,466 people. 65,466. Now, what's interesting is the population as of the 2020 census was 65,194. So that doesn't seem like all those big numbers that Ridenour's been talking about. That doesn't seem something doesn't seem right there. It's weird. Whatever. Anyways. So yeah, that's right. So I'm gonna really be watching this, and I hope the council does the right thing. But I'm not holding out hope for 1426. And honestly, that should be the easiest thing for them to vote for. Okay, now talking about Ordinance 926, Resolution 1026 and Resolution 1126. All those three things together. This is the fire department stuff. I will never, I mean, I guess Ridenour could show me documents from his doctors, like he would never do that, but shy of Ridenour showing me something that his doctor signed off in June, telling him that he would be coming back at the end of July. Short of that, I will never believe that Ridenour didn't come back from his medical leave early because shit was hitting the fan in Muncie. I believe that's why he came back when he came back. I fully believe that he had planned to stay gone until at least September. I fully believe that. That's when all the paperwork for Hal was ran out till. There would have been no reason to do that. Everybody that I've talked to about the kind of procedure that he's had, everybody said it's like he could have came back in 2 weeks. He should have been able to come back in 2 weeks. It's not like he's a heavy operator, heavy machine operator, lifting, you couldn't come back and sit at your desk. Like what? So, and listen, I'm not knocking him, medical, whatever. I'm just saying, I'm this has always been the problem with Ridenour, right? Is that when there's information out there that they don't provide the information to, people fill in the holes however they can. The number of community updates addressing the fires has been a good indicator that you are correct. Yeah, look at that. Ridenour would basically, like, they had to fight to get him to do one a week. And then, man, he came back on Wednesday, the 15th, and it was like bam, 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 bam. They're still putting him out crazy. I fully believe that we need to slow this down, just like I believe that we needed to slow the other one down. I keep saying it over and over and over and over. Maybe there's people out there that's like wanting to punch me. I am perfectly fine with building, taking $12 million. I wouldn't announce that so proudly and openly on a public forum there, Stumblefoot, but you do you. I would be perfectly fine if they would come out and say, we're taking $13 million and we're going to build 3 fire stations. That would make sense to me. Taking $13 million and building 1 fire station is dumber than dog shit. That's all I got to say about it. I don't think that they've given enough. I can't wait, because the controller better come down with a bunch of paperwork. So I'm going to go in there. As soon as we get off this program tonight, when Kate and I do our debrief and we get off, and I'm going to be sitting there and winding down for the evening, one of the things I'm going to do before I close my eyes and go to sleep is I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to the Public Service Committee, the second one, and I'm going to write down all of the things that they ask Controller Wright. That he said, oh, I don't know, Dan will have to answer that. Oh, I don't know, someone else will have to answer that. Oh, I don't know, I have paperwork upstairs. And I'm going to write down every one of those things. And when I get up to speak about this, I'm going to say, when you guys met, you asked the controller these questions. Bing, 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 bing. I'm going to read them off. I'm going to say, and he told you that you'd have to ask Dan, or that he didn't have the paperwork. So I'm hoping Dan's going to be there tomorrow. If we go into tomorrow's meeting and Dan's not there, the council has to table Ordinance 926. cannot vote it through. If Dan is not there tomorrow, you cannot vote it through. I am pretty tightly wound. That is a pretty fair assessment. Listen, I'm not saying anything crazy. Am I saying anything crazy? The mayor wasn't at either one of the public services committees. He didn't answer questions, and a lot of the questions that were asked were answered with, "That's a Ridenhour question. You have to ask the mayor. The mayor knows that information." "Oh, I don't have that information. The mayor has it. The mayor needs to answer it." "Oh, you need to ask the mayor that." Well, the mayor wasn't there. And I'm going to ask Jerry and I'm going to ask Jeff Green how they voted for favorable recommendation. That's political posturing. That's all that is. So if the mayor's not there, if Dan's not there, then how important are these things that he wants passed? I believe he'll be there. It'll be wild. I mean, if he's not there, God, if he's not there, I don't know. I don't know what I will think if he's not there. Stumblefoot, that's right. That's absolutely right. So that's that. That's what's going on with Ordinance 926, Resolution 1026, 1126. If the mayor's there, answer some questions. I still think this needs to be slowed down. I still want to know who's on the building corporation, when that's being appointed, all of that stuff. You know, we've got a lot of information to figure out there, you know. That brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to Ordinance 1326, which is vetoed, and Ordinance 1526, which is the BS ordinance. And before we get there, we're going to take a quick break. So we're going to take a break. You guys sit tight. When we come back, we'll take care of Ordinance 1326 and Ordinance 1526. You guys sit tight. We'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So before we get into this, I wonder who the next big candidate for the Republicans will be, because Dan promised he was going to retire after this term as an Impact X-Class Q&A around 18 months ago. Oh, yeah. No, listen to me. Dan has always said that he was going to run for mayor for 2 terms. That's all he was going to do, was 2 terms. It's not going to be how. I've talked to too many people. That have basically broached that question with Hal, and Hal said he does not want it. I don't know that he would be able to do it with his current situation, with what he's making. I don't think he would be able to do it. It's going to be someone like, I don't even want to say names because it's stupid. It's going to be like Brad Polk, who has the personality of a fish. This guy literally said to me, he was upset that I used the Teen Wolf scene where the dad makes the principal piss himself. He literally, in a conversation when we were talking about records that he had to give me, he's like, well, I want to talk to you about this, I want to talk to you about this pissing myself situation. And I'm like, dude, what? I was like, okay. And he's like, well, I've talked to you. I've dealt with you and I had no problem talking to you. I've had no problem talking to you. And I've never pissed myself. And I'm like, I don't know if you have or not. I can't answer that. I cannot answer that. And Stumblefoot is the absolute, that's a real statement. Let me tell you, I am like I could do council. I could even do like a county commissioner, one of three. I could do state representative. I could do something like that. But I'm too hot-headed. And while, like, I wouldn't play well with, if we had a situation where, like, let's say the situation was reversed and the council was who was out of control and Dan was good. Let's say that Dan was doing everything right and the council was doing wrong and they were blocking him and everything and they were running an agenda. If, like, I had a situation where something like that occurred, I don't know what I would. It would not be good. It wouldn't be good. If I was on a situation like where Ryan Webb's on the council and he's asking questions, I would. I don't know what it would be. It would be crazy. I've found my niche. I love what I do here. And that's exactly right. That's exactly right. No, you know what? I'll push back on that a little bit because, when I was a police officer, I was pretty good about being able to. I can get myself in a situation where I can control my emotions. Now, I will tell you, I have noticed since I've been older, and I haven't kept that sharp, and I haven't stayed like that. That I've noticed that my emotions run away with me much more now than they did. I was very much more in control of my emotional being at 27 than I am now. I have no problem saying that. I think I'm a smarter person, obviously, now than when I was 27. But I was, I don't want to say more emotionally mature. I think I'm more emotionally mature now. I think maybe I was emotionally stunted more then, but I was able to control it more. And that's something you got to work on. You got to practice. That's true, Kate. But no, getting back to the biggie. So if Christopher were mayor, could I be? Yes, you could be. Yes, you could. And just because I know who you are, without saying anything to say anything, we keep everything just the same, and it would be perfect. It would be perfect. That's we'll keep it just the same. There's Space Cat. that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty spot on, Stumblefoot, if you're talking about patrol. But I spent more time in investigations than I did on patrol. So patrol is very going from point A to point B to point C, from the shortest distance between two points and getting the job done and going on. That's a very true statement. But I have a very investigative mind. You know what I would be? I don't even. That's hilarious, Space Cat. That's funny. You know what position I would be perfect for? I would be perfect to be somebody's chief of staff. I don't need to be the man behind the scene. Or I don't need to be the man out in front. I can be the man behind the scenes, but I need to be the person to say, "Yo, you're overstepping. You're doing wrong." I would excel in a position like that. But okay, I got people here that want to know my thoughts on this. So Ordinance 1326, Ordinance 1526. These are the biggies. These are the McKinley neighborhood situation. And I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I would be a good counselor. I would do well with that. I would care what the people had to say and I have changed it. Well, no, I've been here before. You've seen me here. This is just, I'm at Southern Command. We'll be back in the studio tomorrow or the next day. I just was tired of dealing with the issue. We got to get it fixed down there. Okay, so Ordinance 1326 and Ordinance 1526. The long and the short of it is, this is like negotiations. This is like a big ordeal. The bottom line is, we need 6 votes. We need 6 votes to go our way in order to get this. And I want to be very clear. When I say our way, I don't live in McKinley. I want to be very clear. They can bulldoze the houses straight over, push them into the river, start at Weiser, and knock them off into the river. Okay? Give everybody that lives down there $10 million, push the people into the river, build an amusement park there, build a high-rise hotel. I don't care what they do there. I don't live there. I don't live there. I don't care what happens. No, I know gamers on it. I want them to do right by the people. The only thing I have in this is I want them to do right by the people in the area. I want them to do right by the people. I don't get money if this overlay goes through. I didn't write this overlay. I've got no dog in this fight other than the council doing the right thing, hoping that Dan gets his head out of his butt and Dan does the right thing, and Jeff Howe goes away. Though that's all I want. Okay? So I want to be very clear when I say, for them to vote the way and do the right thing, do what we want. It's not me. I'm on their side because I see what's going on here. So we need 6 votes. Okay, 6 votes. I want all 9 of them to vote to override. All 9 of them should vote to override this. It really, anybody who votes against the override, again, like the other ordinance I said, anyone who votes against the override needs to explain why they're voting against the override. And I don't mean in the weird way that Jerry Dishman's going to do it. I mean, it needs to have some actual thought behind it, and they need to say why. They need to be very clear why they're voting against it. So we need 4. So what I foresee happening with the override is a Democrat will make the motion and a Democrat will give the second. I truly believe, I wish Roe would make the motion or give a second, but I don't think she's going to. Okay. Good question. Good question, Lenny. So there's 9. So on all the other ordinances tomorrow, we need the majority of the council, which is 5. What I'm talking about here, so this ordinance 1326, it was introduced at the last meeting. They voted on it and they introduced it. Then they voted again to consider suspending the rules and passing it all in the same night. And they voted 8-0 because one council member was absent. So it's 9, but one council member was absent. So all 8 of them voted to introduce it. Then all 8 of them voted to suspend the rules. And then all 8 of them voted to pass it. Well, a couple days later, after they passed it, the acting mayor vetoed it. So they vetoed it, which is mayor has the power to do. Now, the council can let that veto hang, and then if they don't do anything, then that ordinance just dies because it was vetoed. But the council can override the mayor's veto, but in order to do so, they have to vote tomorrow to do that. And they need a 2/3 vote to do that. So we see here approval or veto of ordinances or orders, resolutions within 10 days after an ordinance, order, or resolution is presented to the city executive. The city executive shall either approve it, which he didn't. He vetoed it by returning it to the legislative body with a message announcing the veto and stating the reasons for the veto. The city executive may also approve or veto individual items of an ordinance, appropriating money or levying a tax. B, if the city executive does not approve or veto the ordinance, order, or resolution within 10-day period, it is considered vetoed. So he has to either approve it, veto it, or doing nothing is a veto. A vetoed ordinance, order, or resolution is defeated unless the legislative body overrides the veto at its first regular or special meeting after the 10-day period by a 2/3 vote. So then in this situation, by this situation, they have to vote 2/3. 2/3 of 9 is 6. So there are situations. See, I don't like anything being an all or nothing. I agree. 99% of the time, I do not agree with suspending the rules and passing it in the same evening. But I don't like saying you can never do it, because there are legitimate times when something like that makes sense. I think this one fit one of those times. I think this one fit one of those times. Now, you can't suspend law, but rules. See, that's what you gotta, that's what we gotta. Rules are not laws. Laws are what matter. Suspending rules that the council has that's not a law, I am perfectly fine with. I would not be in favor of suspension of laws, which they can't do. But, so I don't have a problem with if there's a legitimate reason for it. And in this matter, I think there was, and there are other matters. Now, a lot of times I don't agree with it. Now, okay, this is good. Explain what happens after the council vetoes the veto. Well, so it's overrides the veto. If the council overrides if the council overrides the veto, then the ordinance is back in play like it always has been, and it's done. It's there. And then if they want to change it in any way, they have to amend it or vote another ordinance in that changes it in some way. Okay. So that's that. So when we go tomorrow, I have something I'm going to say. I'm not going to lay it out ahead of time. I've already told the council a couple different times what I think. They know what's coming from my point of view, but I've got a couple of other things. I think we're going to see a Democrat motion and a Democrat make the second. Okay, no big deal. I think we're going to see Nora vote for it. We're going to see Sarah vote for it. We're going to see Billy Mack vote for it. And we're going to see Harold Mason vote for it. Okay? Those are 4 votes that are going to happen. No problem. Okay? I fully believe that Brandon Garrett will vote to override the veto. I fully believe that's going to happen. So I believe he is the 5th vote. And I fully believe that he will do that. And I don't put a lot of stock in Brandon for much, but I fully believe that he's going to be voting to override. And that leaves us one last voter. And essentially, we've got 5 people. If Brandon votes for it, that's 5. So we've got 4 more people to pick from. Those 4 people are Rose Selvey, Jerry Dishman, Dale Basham, and Jeff Green. Okay. Well, we're aware that Jeff Green and Dale Basham are not going to vote to override this. So we can take them out of the picture. Jerry Dishman, I fully believe should do right here, but I don't think he's going to, because he's the one that sponsored 1526 based off mistruths, untruths that Ridenhour told him. So I think Dishman's out. That leaves Rose Selvey being number 6. And I think Roe is having a lot of turmoil. And Lenny. So Gamer, daughter, I don't know if you watched Thursday night or not. I'm holding off talking about Thursday's meeting because of I'm holding on. I'm not gonna talk about it until after the meeting because well, to be honest, it's for tactical reasons. So I'm going to hold off on that just for now, just FYI. I've put a lot of content into these council members behind the scenes. I've talked to these people. I've sent them information. I've provided them my 10-page write-up. I've sent them the MRC meetings. I've done everything that I could. And I'll tell you, from my point of view, just talking to different sources and people out, I know that there's still work going on. As of right now, there's still people working to try to make people a winner here, make everybody happy. But I know it's politics, and I know that there are people still working to make sure that the neighborhood doesn't get what it wants, and that 1326 dies and goes away, and that they put 1526 in. And I'll be honest, I don't know why Dan is going to run for re-election. He's basically him running for re-election. That's like, it's like this. It's like your kid climbs to the top of a tree and decides that he's going to jump from the very tip toppy of that tree to the very tip toppy of another tree 10 feet away. And he climbs down and he comes in and he tells you, hey, I'm going to jump. I'm going to climb up the tree and jump. And you say, under no circumstances are you going to do that. Do not do that. You are not going to do that. Keep your little ass out of that tree. You can climb up halfway, but don't be climbing up all the way to the top. And if you do climb up to the top, whatever you do, do not jump, because you're not going to make it. That's crazy. And that kid does it. And he does it right as you walk outside. And he does it. And he makes it. And you're proud of him inside, like, oh my God, he did it. Holy crap, he did it. But when he climbs down, he's got to be in trouble because he disobeyed you, right? Maybe that's not good. Maybe he's jumping a motorcycle between cars, juggling knives or something. I mean, I'm trying to think of something where like he actually makes it so it's like something to be proud of, but you've also got to be like, I'm not clapping because I'm mad that you did it and I told you not to. That's like this. If Dan runs again, people have got to be mad at him because he told us all he was not going to run for a third term. And so running for a third term is just another lie he's told us. It's not like, oh, yay, we're happy that you're doing it. Yay, good for Dan. It's, you're, like, and I'm going to be honest. I was talking to Amber Green. This was years ago, a couple years ago. This is before she was even hired at the city. It was right not for mayor. He could run 10 terms in a row if he wanted. Not for mayor. There's only term limits for certain things. Amber told me right after Dan won his last election, like he took office in January, and then she went to lunch with Dan's wife in like February. So it would have been February. They ran in 23. So this would have been February of 2024. And she called me when she left that lunch. She like left the lunch and she called me as she was leaving the parking lot. And we were just chatting and I was like, well, so tell me, like, give me the debrief. What happened? And she said, Dan's running again. And I was like, what? What do you mean? She was like, yeah, his wife said she's running again. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. I was like, that's nuts. I was like, what makes you feel that way? And she's like, well, she said that, we've got to start gearing up for run number 3. And I was like, already? Like, that's pretty nuts. But yeah, unless I don't know what's going on with his health stuff, something could happen there, but I fully believe that he's going to run again. And, I hope that there's a good candidate. I hope yeah, that's exactly true, Stumblefoot. You've hit the nail on the head there. Absolutely. And I think he does it for her. I think a lot of it's about her. I think it's about what makes her happy. I don't think this is about what he wants. I think it's about making her happy, which is weird. So I have a lot to say about Ordinance 13 and 1526, but I don't really want to say too much until the review, because I'm still hopeful that people behind the scenes are capable of getting things in play. And I'm willing, I want that to happen. And if it means Dan winning and everybody winning, I'm happy with that, because I want the neighborhood to get what they want. And that's what I keep telling the counselors. It's not about what you want. It's not about what Jeff wants. It's not about what Dan wants. It's not about what the developers want. It's about what the neighborhood wants. And in a situation where you cannot please 100% of the people all the time in this matter, you're not everybody's not going to be happy. Someone's going to be disappointed. In this situation, if what you're doing is legal and lawful, then you have to do what's best for the majority of the people. And this should be an easy decision for all 9 council members. For any council member that does not have an easy time with this, I expect a full debrief explanation of why. And I'm going to demand it tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. So that's that for the city council meetings. There is a Delaware County Commissioners meeting tomorrow morning. I will share that like the way that we do, so you can see it by clicking on our Facebook links, or you can go to Delaware County Government on YouTube and watch that. I'm interested to see if we got more Fred and Ed action. I don't really know what's going to happen there. It's going to be interesting. I have the agenda for the meeting, but I don't have it now. I've been really just focused on the council meeting. I can't wait for the council meeting tomorrow to finish, so we can know good, bad, or indifferent, right, wrong, or whatever. I want to know what's going on so we can worry on moving forward. So we will be doing whatever we need to do and going forward from there. I will be happy with that. We will hopefully have a show tomorrow night. I will keep you guys posted. You'll be able to see it on the council meeting. I'll put it up like I always do. If we're going to have a show, if we're not going to have a show. So stay tuned for that. And if there is anything else, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it if you did that. Oops, sorry. I knew you were doing something, so I didn't know what was going on. So hit the like button, do all of that stuff. If you want to reach out to us, you know how to do that. And I will, you guys can, I don't know what I'm clicking now. I can't click on it at all. Damn it. Okay, you know how to reach out to us. So there's that. I'm planning on having a show. The only reason we won't have a show is if the meeting runs long. And so I don't know exactly what long means. I won't know until we get to the meeting and we have the meeting. Yeah, thank you. It is yes, it is an eight seat. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8-seater. Yes, sir. So that's that. Please smash the like button. Check out the Rents show. The Rents, if you haven't watched that, God willing, we will be here all week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll put out some good shows. Thursday night, we are going to do the JD episode. I talked to Brandon, and we are on task for it. So Thursday, August 6th. So you guys tune in for that. Watch tomorrow. Commissioners meeting at 9 a.m. Council meeting tomorrow at 6:45. And I hope we have a wonderful celebratory show tomorrow evening, episode 710. If the council meeting goes long tomorrow and we don't have a show tomorrow night, then episode 710 will be on Tuesday. Either way, we'll break it all down. And I can't wait to talk to you on that side of the meeting because I've got a lot to say to you guys. You guys have a good rest of your evening. Have a wonderful start to the work week tomorrow. God bless each and every one of you. Wait, what are you pointing at? Oh, you weren't pointing at me. All right. Good night. Take care. And goodbye. Absolutely. Hey, we just had Alva up here. So next you need to come over so we can eat lunch with you and send you on your way. Take care. Good night. Goodbye.